in this mimer we were talking about the different levels of the avodas, the four different begodim that were made out of linen. Those are four different types of avodah, and it's said by each one the word bad. Bad, we said, indicates the concept of emunah, of belief in Hashem, and meaning that in each and every type of avodah, depending on the particulars of the person, there are different types of emunah that is required and has to do with their particular level in their avodas Hashem. And we start to explain how there's, for example, the emunah of the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, that Moshe Rabbeinu, he was the level of Chachma, and because of that, on the one hand, he was very nispal from the emunah pshuta, from the simple faith of the Yidden by the heels of Mashiach, but along with that, he still had to translate it and interpret it via Chachma, and therefore he questioned Hashem, Lama Hariyosa, why have you done this, what you've done to the Jewish people, etc. And so that is the emunah that is in concert with Chachma. Another thing that he's going to bring in about Moshe Rabbeinu's Chachma, which had to do with things that were beyond Seichel, is the next example. Val derech zeh, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the bottom of the page. The line begins Sarach Lishon. Val derech zeh, in a similar vein, Gamki Mashabikish Moshe Sheigal Lo Tam Parah, that Moshe Rabbeinu requested that should be revealed to him the reason for the Parah Adumah. He used the mitzvah's Parah Adumah Yichuke Shalom Eilam HaChachma. Since the mitzvah of the red heifer is a statute, it's a decree that's beyond wisdom, the Lachein Chutzrach Li is Dibur Miyuchad Ma'akadosh Baruch Hu K'dei Legal Soitam mitzvah. Therefore, there had to be a specific expression of the Eibishter to reveal to him the reason for this mitzvah, it says L'cha ani megala tam parah, to you, others not, but to you I'm going to reveal the reason for the Parah Adumah. But not all Medrashim agree with this. The Fratla Medrash, especially according to the Medrash, Gam la'achre b'koshes Moshe, even after Moshe Rabbeinu requested that Hashem should reveal to him the reason for the Parah Adumah, Nishra Gam etzli ba'oifen the Chukah, V'loy Giluloi, it still remained by Moshe Rabbeinu this matter in a way of a decree, and he was not revealed to him the reason for the Parah Adumah, and he had to have belief. So we see Moshe Rabbeinu's belief, how it had to be like corresponding to dealing with his level of Chachma. Since the emunah by him was like emunah, wasn't the level of Chachma, therefore he was very humble in comparison to the quality and advantage of the simple faith that's in the generation of the heels of Mashiach, which are likened b'chinas regel, which is the level of the foot. These correspond to the linen trousers that we said that has to do with the level of the foot, and the avoida with the foot. The Rebbe in the footnote says that the heels, even though heels were not where the trousers reached, it's because we're talking here about the general idea. In general, the foot includes the heel as well, and since the trousers also have to do with the foot in general, it also includes the idea of the heels as well. The Rebbe gives an example for this further, that we find that in Midas, there is number 5, the Hoid Shebahoid, we say, is like the completion of the Midas. Sometimes we have 7, sometimes we have 7 times 7, and 7 or 7 times 10. So in other words, there's more general, there's less general things. Getting back to the text, 2 lines from the bottom of the text, Pisa Yuvan, according to this understood. Why by each one of the garments it says bad, it says the word bad linen, bimyuchad, specifically michnasei bad, etc. 4 times it says the word bad. There has to be belief and faith in each one of the levels. And in each one of these divisions, what we spoke about, what the avodah of the mitznefes is, what the avodah of the avnet is, what the avodah of the ksoinus is, what the avodah of michnasayim are, all of these things have their own level of emunah according to whatever the level is. Top of the last page. Yet, as we mentioned also earlier in the Maimer, it's not just enough to have one of them alone. We need the combination and the coalescing of all of them together. Top of 192. There has to be all the 4 garments together. You cannot have less than the 4 garments, as we mentioned earlier in the Maimer, and you cannot add to the 4 garments. Only through each one according to their particular concept, what they are supposed to accomplish, and only when we have all of them together, then we affect the advantage and quality in the level of bad, which we said before is the emunah. Now, like the previous mentioned drosha, it's a kol echad ma'abgodim namar bad, through the fact that by each one of the garments it says the word bad. Lemeidim, we derive shetzarech lias muvcher shebabad. There has to be the choices of the linen v'loy brak bad stam. That's what the Gemara derives. That's not just ordinary linen, but by repeating the word bad again and again, the Gemara derives from that it has to be the best of the bad possible. And therefore, through the 4 garments together, there becomes the atonement that the Kohen Gadol has to atone for the Yidden, and the most perfect and complete atonement. In the last paragraph, this avodah is accomplished through Jewish people. Just like the wearing of the garments was through the Yid. It's not enough that the garments are hanging in a closet. By a Yid himself through the level of the Kohen. And by the Kohen himself, it had to be the level of the Kohen Gadol that affected this atonement. The holiest amongst the soul of the Yidden, the highest level, the Kohen Gadol was the highest level, the holiest person. And the avodah took place in the location that was the most holiest place, the Holy of Holies, that's the ultimate holiness in area. It took place on Yom Kippur, which is Achas B'Shana, which is once a year. It is the ultimate holiness in time. So you have the coalescing of all these 3 things. Man, place, and time together, each one in the most holiest state. Though in the time that the Beis HaMikdash stood, there were limitations. Just like when it came to the once a year, it was also that itself. You're saying it's once a year, not multiple times a year. There was a limitation in time. And Shavoid is Yom Kippurim, this Avoid is Yom Kippur. So there's a limit in place, there's a limit in time. It was only in this location, the location of the Beis HaMikdash, only this time of the year. So the Rebbe says that specifically because the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, so that takes away the limitations. It's not that we lost, we gained. But now, it's possible to be the idea of tshuva, which is the concept of once during the year, Talmud. It's possible for that to be constant. We can have it not just once a year, we can have it any day. Yisrael oisen tshuva, and Yidden will do tshuva, and immediately they will be redeemed. Let us go on